parents in Denver are facing 4 counts of felony child abuse charges. Each one of them is facing 4 counts because of the conditions that their 4 boys were living in. Their boys are between the ages of 2 and 6, 2, 4, 5, and 6 to be specific. And one of the children was taken to the hospital because he had a cut on his face. And then the doctors noticed that the boy was in really, really bad shape. He was very dirty. It seemed as if he hadn't been living in a clean environment for quite some time. So a social worker decided to visit the home. And then they found the worst possible conditions for children to live in. There was cat feces everywhere. The floors were just soaked in cat urine. It was dirty. It was disgusting. In fact, let me give you guys some of the description that was noted in the denverchannel.com. They said a strong odor of decomposing animal coming from inside. The officer said the smell became unbearable as they entered the apartment. The officer could not locate the source of the smell, but said it seemed to be coming from a back room that was so full of flies they were covering every surface. The children also were unable to speak. Apparently, the father said, well, they have their own language. That was his excuse.
Yeah, that might be the worst excuse I've ever heard. There's a language here called English that we try to teach kids so they can communicate to others, to their parents, and also to friends if they ever got out. Look, all these kid stories, abuse stories, drive me crazy. You know, having kids of my own, I always think, like, how could anybody do that? And in this case, there's an extra layer here.
There is.
You know, because we've heard about a lot of the abuse stories, but a 6-year-old not being able to speak, my God, what did you do to these kids?
So the couple is Wayne Sperling. He's 66 years old, and the mother is Lorinda Bailey. She's 35 years old. Oh. So there's a 31-year age difference there. I don't know what's going on. The mother says that even though they live in the same building, they live in a separate unit, and the father is the primary caretaker of the children. There's
a caretaker here?
Yeah, I don't know.
That's like damning with faint praise, in this case, primary caretaker. Jesus, if you're the secondary one, how horrible are you?
So stories like this pop up all the time, actually. You know, I have friends that are social workers, and they talk about some of the conditions that kids live in, some of the neglect that they face, and it's really, really sad. And I don't really know what the answer is in terms of solving this issue.
Yeah, look, if they can't speak, the 4 kids, that means that they were totally locked away from other human beings. Like, look, all you need is a TV and you'd be able to speak, right? Because that's how a lot of the kids learn anyway, right? Any, interaction with other kids, any interaction with other adults. I mean, if they can't speak at all the way up to the age of 6, my God, what did you do? I mean, you must have kept them in that room with the flies, and they said underneath the bed was like at least 2 inches deep of kitty litter, right? And so in this disgusting room that you had them locked up their whole lives, what's wrong with you people? I mean, yesterday or 2 days ago, we talked about how there's evil in the world. Of course. To be able to do this to anybody, let alone your own kids. And of course there's no answer. I mean, how do you incentivize a guy like that and the woman like that who has no feelings apparently whatsoever about their own kids to do the right thing? It seems inconceivable that they can understand the concept of doing the right thing.
Right, and by the way, we're just speculating that they're bad people, but there could be other factors into play. There could be mental health illness here. There could be extreme poverty here. I know.
Extreme poverty is not an answer.
There
could be drugs. There could be
drugs, but extreme poverty is an answer, because what if they do have mental health issues and they don't have
it has to be in combination with mental health issues.
Yeah.
Extreme poverty leads to terrible situations. It doesn't lead to doing this to your kids.
Right, but we also live in a country where there are kids living on the streets. So to pretend as if like, oh my God, this is terrible, how dare they? I mean, do we really care about children in America? Because a huge chunk of them are starving as we speak, and there are some that are living on the streets as we speak. So I think that when it comes to neglect and issues like this, poverty does play a role.
One last thing, and when it gets to bad parenting, it's, look, poor parents obviously try to do the best they can on the circumstances they're in, but rich parents could be just as abusive and neglectful. Mm-hmm. And I read this Rolling Stone piece about the Duke family. If you've never read this thing, it's long, okay? But It's the guys the tobacco family that originally started Duke University. They've been incredibly charitable. They're successful business in the beginning, etc. But the money filtered down through the generations, and several generations ago, they lost a work ethic, right? And they had all this money, and so they didn't need to work, and they just started devolving. By the end, the two current kids, they're twins. I think now they're about 15 years old. You hear their story, and their parents are incredibly rich. They live in these giant mansions, locked up in their own room, similar to this story, okay? Waste everywhere, their own waste, living in it. They would turn the kids' cribs upside down to serve as like a cage, so the kids couldn't go anywhere. Abuse after abuse, shotguns throughout the house, beatings. They're like on drugs or drunk while driving all the time. They nearly drive the kids off a cliff. So rich, poor, once you've lost some sort of moral compass or you're so that deep into drugs, that's when terrible, hideous things like this happens.